Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more. The Man That Can Project podcast, a podcast empowering career-driven men to live more fulfilling lives. We are here to challenge your beliefs, redefine success, and talk about the important stuff in a relatable way. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. My name's Lachlan Stuart. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the Man That Can Project podcast. I'm your host, Lachlan Stuart. Today we are going to be diving into an important topic, one that I think a lot of people overlook and maybe aren't aware about. And I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they were touching on how a lot of people lack self-awareness. And I think the majority of you who are listening to this podcast, I think you're more aware than most. And one of the things that I had to deal with in my own life was overcoming a negative mindset and also negative thoughts. And it's something that I wouldn't say I've completely abolished. I deal with every single day, but there are a few things that you can do to work through that. I'm going to share some things that work well for me. Once again, all of these sorts of things, test them out. See what works for you. If they don't work for you, piss them off. Look for another solution. That's what it's always been about for me, as I've had an idea of who I want to be as a man and what I need to do in order to get there, right? Because ultimately, everything that I've done, it has been, what's the next thing that I need to work on? That once I achieve this, it's going to give me the best possible move or next move in order to creating the life that I want to create. So let's talk about mindset. Okay, obviously, it is completely normal to have negative thoughts and feelings. Right, happens from time to time for me, and it's something that a while ago I was ashamed to have those sorts of feelings because I had a belief, the belief that I was broken or there was something wrong with me because I was experiencing negative thoughts and feelings. And over time, I've realized that we're all human. Every single person, including you, experience it. Right? I'm not the only person who experiences these thoughts and emotions and feelings, nor are you. However, if you find that negative thoughts or a negative outlook is interfering in your daily life, then there are some things that you need to work on to help you improve your mindset. Let's backtrack a little bit. Backtrack to 2014 and beyond. There was so much of my time was consumed by a negative mindset. The only area where I felt confident, the only area where I felt positive was with sport. Every other thing in my life was really consumed by negative thoughts and negative emotions. And one thing that I lacked awareness around was what I was consuming and the people that I was surrounding myself with. So before we dive into these, I guess, next couple of points that I want to talk about, which is going to be about identifying the negative thoughts that you may be having, challenging those negative thoughts, practicing gratitude and taking care of yourself. Before we dive into that, let's just address what you're consuming. Think about this for a split second. If you want to be healthy, you eat foods that make you feel healthy, that bring a better result. You wouldn't be eating fast foods and takeout all the time. You would be eating foods that are nutrient dense to bring you a better outcome, right? To help you look and feel better. The same goes with what you consume for your mindset, right? Your mindset is your attitudes, thought, feelings, beliefs, and behaviors. So if you want to improve that, if you want to really make that healthy for what you feel it is, You got to consume good stuff, right? That starts with the conversations that the environment you're in are consuming. If they're not talking about things that make you feel positive, it's not a healthy diet. Same with, podcasts, books, all of that sort of stuff. That impacts how you show up on a daily basis. I remember when I used to listen to emo music when I had the long black fringe and whatnot, and I was sad all the fucking time. And then I started realizing that the lyrics of the music that I was listening to and the BPM of it was just sad. So no wonder I felt that way. So in order to shift that, I look for music that makes me feel good, right? Much like I look to consume things that makes me feel good. It's not rocket science. So think about that for yourself there. Now let's go into the first part, identifying negative thoughts. So it's important to start building awareness, okay? And making a conscious effort means you're doing it deliberately, you're doing it intentionally, to notice when you're having negative thoughts. You may be having one now, you may have had one this morning, you may have some tonight. When you notice them, write them down. I remember I was doing my neurolinguistic programming certification a few years back, and one of the tips he gave me was like, how about you just yell it out when you're on the street? And I was like, why would I do that? And he's like, well, you'll sure as shit probably stop to want to think that about yourself if every time you have those negative thoughts, you have to say it out loud, because often when we verbalize it or even write it down, we realize how bloody ridiculous it is, right? Because we can then, I guess the other flip side of that is we can understand where they're coming from. Guys, just quickly, while I've got you, the Strong Men of Value Academy. For those who have been listening for a long time, you'll hear me continuously talking about this. If you're a man looking for direction in your life, this is the place for you. I have put my heart and soul into creating something that would have changed my life had I found it earlier, and now it's available for you. We focus on building physical and mental fitness to help men like you discover their true purpose and reach their full potential. By joining the Academy, you will become part of a community of strong, driven men who are committed to bettering themselves and reaching their potential. It is exactly what I needed years ago, and I'm so fortunate that I'm still a part of it, and we have an incredible community of men that are all around the world. So whether this is your first time hearing about it, or if you've been sitting on the fence for a long time, don't wait any longer. Take control of your life and become the best version of yourself. You can head over and apply now at thementhatcanproject.com. I look forward to working with you this year. A recent one for me is, I guess, around business. 2023, I really want to grow, and I've had many thoughts that make me nervous about what's coming. Okay, am I capable of achieving that? Do I have the right infrastructure? Am I the right person for the job? And all these negative thoughts keep coming. And when I've written them down and started asking myself, where did this thought come from? It's like, okay, well, that came from an older version of myself. Do I believe that to be true? No, and I guess this leads us to point 2. Challenge your negative thoughts. Right? Once you've identified what they are, challenge them. Anything that you don't like in your life, and if you've identified it, challenge it, because when you challenge it, you can change it, right? You need to ask yourself, is it really true? What is the evidence to support that? Okay, because when you start realizing that maybe there isn't as much evidence as possible, it becomes a lot easier to change that, to challenge that, and to shift that negative thought or replace it with a positive one to help deliver the outcome that you're looking for. That's why we need to challenge them. If you just keep going, oh, I'm a piece of shit, and don't challenge that and continue to do that day in, day out, it becomes part of who you are, right? And how do you expect? Can you imagine this? If someone walked around calling himself a piece of shit every single day, how on earth do you expect that person to feel good? So if you're walking around doing that, how on earth do you expect yourself to feel good, to feel positive? It's not possible. Okay, so once you've identified them, once you've started challenging them and realizing that there isn't much evidence to support those negative thoughts, you can then start listing out things that you want to replace it with, right? For me, at the moment, I am completely capable of running a multi-million-dollar company. It's what I'm telling myself all the time, and I'm now doing the same thing. Is it really true? Where is the evidence to support that? And I'm finding evidence within my own life to support the belief that I want to have. Now, it's not set in stone. I don't wake up every day going, man, I'm doing that. But it's something that I practice, and it leads us to point 3, which is the importance of practicing gratitude, right? Make it an absolute habit to take just a few minutes each day to think about things that you're grateful for, right? It's going to help you shift your focus from the negative things that you have, or the negative thoughts and feelings in your life, and shift it to more positive ones. And going back to what I was talking about earlier, when you're in a more positive frame of mind, the likelihood that you're going to create a life that you love, you're going to be the person that you want to be, is so much higher. And it only requires a few minutes a day. Start by writing, I'm grateful for, and think about why you're grateful for whatever you've just written down. Pretty simple, but it's absolutely game-changing. The 4th point I want to take to you, take care of yourself. Honestly, it's why we prioritize our physical and mental fitness within our academy, because you need to make sure you're taking care of that physical, emotional well-being, right? I spoke about this the other day in our academy. It's making sure you're getting the right amount of sleep for you. It's making sure you're eating nutrient-dense food to fuel your body to give you the energy that you want, right? It's making sure that you exercise regularly so that your chassis, your rig, your body feels good, has the energy and the vitality to show up throughout the day the way that you want it to. Okay, because as we've said earlier, or as I've spoken about earlier in this, it's not rocket science. But you need to think about every choice that you make, right? There is a sacrifice, or there is a trade-off. So every time you put poor food in your mouth, it's a poor choice. You're taking away a potential opportunity that being more energetic or feeling healthier could potentially give you. And you're listening to this podcast because you want to be a better version of yourself. And it's, obviously we're touching on negative mindset here and negative thoughts, but these are all those 1%ers that should you work on and should you go through this process, you're going to continue to build, change how you feel about yourself, but build your confidence and self-esteem to tackle bigger challenges in your life as they come. Because as you continue to build towards success and design a life that you love, that is going to be the reality that you have to deal with. There are going to be more challenges. And if you're not in the best health physically or mentally to tackle that, you're not really putting yourself in the best position to create the life that you want. So it's something to really think about. Okay, and I touched on this on Instagram the other day as well, is make sure you take time to do things that fill your cup up, that you love, right? Because every day, whether you're dealing with a negative mindset, negative people, you're taking away from your own fuel sources. Okay, so if you're not finding a way to top that up, and I mean, gratitude and personal development and all of this is so important, but you've got to have fun. You've got to have fun. I found myself a few years back in this professional or personal development ego where all I did from the moment that I woke up to the moment that I went to bed was read and practice personal development. I didn't have any hobbies anymore. I didn't watch sports. I didn't go to the pub with my mates. I didn't do any of these things. And I found myself being really disconnected from the world around me, and I felt isolated once again. So I realized that I needed to start doing things and find more hobbies again. And that started by getting back into surfing, into skateboarding, running, the things that I loved, and inviting people into my environment. So once again, just to recap, it is completely normal to have negative thoughts and negative feelings. And some things that, some simple things that you can do just off the back of this podcast is identify what those negative thoughts are, one, challenge them, right? Where are the beliefs coming from? Flip them, right? Practice gratitude and work on yourself. Give back to yourself, take care of yourself, right? So that you are the vessel that enables you to live the best life, okay? It is completely normal to have those negative thoughts, and it's not possible to completely eliminate them. Understand that they're probably going to come in ebbs and flows, maybe in your day, in your week, in your month, or in your life in general. But the key, in my opinion, is to find healthy ways to manage them. And that is what I spend a majority of my time doing as I'm wanting to create a life that I love, build a business that I love, and hang out with more of you guys as well. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart. and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.